Vygotsky's zone of proximal development can be classified as progressive education, not retrospective or conservative. It is more liberal or progressive than Krashen's input plus one, in that Krashen's model is more structured. The plus one is tied to the effective filter hypothesis, which basically states that if the input is beyond the plus one, the student will be anxious, frustrated, or even shut down. Learning cannot occur when the input is beyond the plus one. Yet, Vygotsky's theory involves both input and output, and the steps are not so rigid. I believe that it is in its best form, the ZPD has students memorize vocabulary and grammar forms, and then they interact with speakers that are more advanced than them to put what they learned into practice and then go beyond. In going beyond, students get the opportunity to be spontaneous and experience additional or even non-standard uses of the language previously learned. Vygotsky said that every function of the child's cultural development appears two times, individually and interpersonally. Therefore, his ZPD is the distance between what the learner can do independently and what they can do with guidance from a more capable person, such as an adult or teacher or a more advanced peer. They have freedom to grow. In the 1930s, Vygotsky said that learners learn by imitation. The concept of imitation was further developed by Baldwin in 1980 when he called it persistent imitation, not exact imitation. Interaction with a more capable L2 speaker provides the learner with opportunity to practice imitation. In general learning, the ZPD is interpreted to be a tool and result method, where a problem is posed or encountered and a group of learners work together to solve it. This allows for completely new ideas to emerge. I believe that in second language learning there cannot be so much freedom, since the students are not creating a new language, but rather looking to what they know to communicate effectively. Critics call this the tool for result interpretation of the ZPD. In very progressive classrooms, the ZPD plays out with students creating a process syllabus, as described by Breen in 1984, where the students create the course as they go. They co-author the curriculum. In 1984, Widdowson said that in language learning, students have to adopt and cope with problems that do not have a ready-made formulaic solution. But for most of the United States, educators, parents, and often students themselves want clear-cut outcomes, and quantifiable learning benchmarks need to be met. Krashen's plus one theory better suits this mindset, as the plus ones are seen as steps up the ladder. So then, how does an educator incorporate the ZPD in the second language classroom in the United States? Students must have opportunities to experience the language as it is in the target culture. They need opportunities to communicate. They need social interaction. The teacher needs to mediate what type of interaction and communication is appropriate for the students' levels, and then determine what is beyond. For example, students learn and practice language, grammar, and vocabulary pertaining to a certain unit of study. Then they are provided with opportunities to communicate that were not anticipated, which allow for creativity and real-life experience. In my opinion, much of the critique of the ZPD is about the locus of control in the classroom. Is it the teacher? Is it the student? How could it be both? I believe that an effective teacher knows their students and their levels so they can effectively diagnose what is the ZPD for each student. If the class has varied levels, lower level students could be paired with peers above their level. The upper level students can work in their ZPD with a teacher, or if possible with additional students or native speakers of their age. In all, the teacher should provide a safe environment for the students to be creative and grow. Therefore, the images I found and are on this slide represent the two theories. Krashen's input plus one is like a staircase with a clear destination of mastering the target language. Vygotsky's ZPD is a circle extending in all directions because there is not a clear destination other than effective communication.